Hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope your second day and your Sunday, second day of the new year and Sunday of this week is going good so far. We are going to start the stream by learning how to do some scene transitions. I thought it would be kind of cool to stream the kind of process that people go through to kind of create streams. What's up, Nick? How's it going? I think the next thing I want to add to my channel is scene transitions. So that's what we're going to do. And then after we do scene transitions, maybe something else if I feel like it, then we're going to do some coding stuff. It's weird, I don't know. Because my internet is great, and I double checked to make sure I click the ultra low latency tab. I don't know. Hold on. Let me bust out my phone real quick. Actually, I don't need to bust out my phone. Just go right here. Okay, for me, I'm actually like not getting any latency. So if I clap, like 2 seconds later, it's on there. That's really strange. From chat to video. Okay. That's weird. Yeah, I'm seeing your chats pop up a lot faster on the actual chatting thing too than, because like on OBS, I see this is what I normally respond to over here. But what you're seeing is this, and it's popping up faster on the right side of the screen than it is the left side of the screen. And I normally read off the left side. That's weird. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the lurk. I do want to put alert command in. Thanks for reminding me. But we'll do transitions first, and then we'll do some commands. Have fun with your chores, Nick. Okay, so scene transitions. When transitioning from one scene to the next, you have the option to use visual effects. For example, if you choose fade, you'll get a gradual shift from one scene to the next. Already in studio mode. How old is this? Might be accurate still, but September 9th, 2020. How do you add the transition? I have to add it to my hotkeys. There's gotta be another way. I would like to just like not do that. That'd be nice. See what somebody else has to say.
provide you an OBS. Here we go. All right, let's head over to OBS and we'll check out two scenes that I've made, each with its own background. We'll test. Now, if you're a gamer or you're planning to do online live tutorials, for example, maybe you're educating your people on Photoshop, if you're teaching someone Photoshop, so you don't have a switcher that
I don't mind like manually switching my stream scene, but like I don't want to do it with a hotkey because I don't know, I feel like I'm at risk putting it on a hotkey that I accidentally use for a game or something, and then I mean, I guess I never use like F12. Okay, well, let me go ahead and like try F12, see what happens. Switch to scene, just chatting. This is when I wish I had a stream deck, but I haven't really been doing enough. I haven't been doing this long enough to justify getting a stream deck yet. Hockey combo, possibly? That could be a thing. Like, I can set it up as like a little macro on my keyboard. Oh. Let's try that. That's a good idea. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to just can I just do 12? Okay, we'll apply that and see how it goes. Ooh. I like it. Let's turn up the duration a little bit. Let's do 500. Okay, nice. So that's fade. What does cut look like? Yeah, we don't like cut. Okay, so adding that just makes it every time I just change this scene. I don't like. What is Luma wipe? That one's kind of nice. Fade to color. I don't think that's much different than the fade. I think fade is nice, clean. Maybe 500 is too long. What does 300 look like again? Yeah, I like 300 better. 500 just left like words and stuff hanging around. I don't like the way that looked. So we'll do just chatting as Control F1. Everything else is Control F2, stream ending, Control F3. And BRB. Actually, we'll do BRB being Control F3. And stream ending being Control F. Let's try it out. Chatting. Anything else? BRB didn't save, so let's redo that one. Oh, that was just Control. That was almost disastrous. Alright, try that now. Yep. Thank you, Nick. I like that option a lot more than everything else. When in your life are you ever gonna press Control and a F key? Okay, that was faster than I thought it would take. So let's go ahead and try to look up some commands. One thing I wanted to add was like a point game. Maybe you can like gamble on points, or I don't know, different things. But I want to see if some of the ones that they already have work. Okay, let's see if it works. YouTube. Eight ball. Does it work? Yeah, I'll definitely start looking at using that in the future more often. Okay, the 8-ball thing worked, but it took a long time. Nuke username. Damn, dude. The entire meteor rescue. Applied up to the team store. We're gonna turn off some of the ones that we're never gonna use for a while. I don't really want to have song requests. I tried song requests when I was streaming. When I tried streaming like forever ago in like 2016, and 3 times in a row, it was just trolls who would leak some hate song. So I don't feel like doing that anymore. Quotes could be fun, but we're not gonna do quotes right now. Uptime's a good one. I don't really know what the stream store is, and I guess it has something to do with stream element. Actually, since I don't know it all, I don't really know what the stream store is, I'm gonna keep it up. I don't want it to be like my follow alerts and stuff like that. anything that's like editing these commands midstream, I don't really want to do because like I don't want to take the time midstream to tinker unless like I say that even though I'm doing like a tinkering stream currently, but this is different because it's like intentional. I guess it didn't look like there was a thing for points readily available. How do I clear these? I have to click on them? Kinda lame. Alright, well, go ahead and Google that then. How to add points games stream elements. That's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. Maybe we do this at a different time. Because it's not as easy as it used to be. Well, I say that. I haven't used Stream Elements before. This is the first time I'm using Stream Elements. Streamlabs is a lot easier. And even older than that, Onkbot, which I used forever ago, was also... It wasn't easy, but it was intuitive. Okay, so that was like the right direction. Where did he pull that up at? Okay, there's like a whole tab that I'm not getting. was this video made? 2018. Wow. Probably why. I mean, that's just not here. This is exactly what I'm looking for, though. What if I just type in the dashboard / loyalty? Not fetch loyalty settings. Years ago. Past year. Lurking command. Okay, we'll do a new command. No template. Command lurk. Everyone. Oh, I gotta sneeze, kinda. Money sign. Curly bracket. User. And curly bracket is now lurking, so I think the rest is just text, right? Thanks. And remember to mute tab window instead of stream, so you still count as a viewer. Thank you. Activate command. Let's see if it works. Lurk. Damn. It typed out the $ user. Do I just not have a user variable? I guess I just assumed it was there. Maybe I'd take out the money sign. Try again. Oh, what if I just take out the whole beginning? Does it automatically put someone? Let's try it again. Clerk. If this doesn't work, we can try like @user. Google user command stream. How to make stream elements bot message a specific user. Wait, what did this guy do? Okay, see, I don't have any of this stuff anymore. I don't know if Stream Elements got rid of it or partnered with someone else who like does all this for them now. Part of Mercury, which is in beta. Oh shit, that was very private information. Well, not really. Not like super private. Although I should be better about not putting that in the stream. Okay, Mercury still wasn't what I was looking for. Custom commands, stream elements. Yeah, it is the money sign user. Did I type it wrong? Unless those are actually not curly brackets and those are parentheses. No, those are definitely curly brackets. Oh, thanks, Nick, for the sub. I heard the ding, but I was like, I don't see it anywhere. If this lurk doesn't change with the, if it doesn't work with the parentheses, then we're just going to change the text so that it makes sense without calling out the specific user. Okay, yeah, it didn't work. We will just say thanks for lurking. Maybe we can do this actually. Thanks for lurking. Money sign, curly bracket, lurk. I mean, user. And curly brackets. Alright, one more time. Oh yeah, without the brackets. All right. See, this is why like streamers who do this for a living as their job put so much unspoken time into this stuff, because like it could be simple shit like this that just adds hours. I don't know. I'll just get rid of it. We'll save it like that. That makes sense without having to have their name called out. Yeah. Well, I'm about to get real used to it. Not only with this, but I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to working on the HTML tables. You can help if you want, but you don't need to. In fact, maybe I don't want you to help. Maybe I just kind of want to YOLO it. I think we can close all these, right? Yeah. What was I having problems with? Oh, yeah. I was having problems with changing the image. And my Brave crashed. So I wasn't able to tell if it was Brave not working or what. Oh, damn. Sorry about your internet. I was actually wanting to ask you, a couple nights ago, my Brave just completely worked or stopped working, but like Microsoft Edge would work, like everyone else but Brave would work. So I didn't know if that was like a Brave issue that was happening, or like maybe it was my internet. I don't know if you would know. Right. I was trying to see if wrapping it in a div would work. But I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. And just to make sure I'm still having the same problem. Yeah, no matter what I do, the image doesn't change. I don't think so. I think it just worked the next day. I've had to do that recently though, because some of my applications have been kind of messing up. Like The Witcher or Steam in general. And there was something else that was messing up too, and so I would just restart my computer. Maybe I did that at some point before trying to use Brave again, and it ended up working. But not sure. Adding image and HTML table. Just make sure I added the image right. Image source equals image alt text equals. Let's make sure we'll change this so it intentionally messes up and see if it works. Okay, so it is updating properly. So I'm definitely doing something wrong. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Tabulizer. Let's see if using my inspector. Okay, not gonna lie, don't really. Oh, okay. Do what we're working with right now. Okay, well, I feel like that's weird because I have 2 rows. Maybe the row down here isn't popping up because I don't have any information for it. Okay, it's highlighting the same thing. What? It's like acting like this row and this row. Oh wait, no. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. I thought it was acting like the top row and the bottom row were the same. I was like, well, that might explain it. But... Wait, what was it? They're using something called col spans. I don't know what that is. Probably better than what I'm trying to do. I'm just gonna ignore it for now. But I need to do the I feel like style. Property value expected. Oh, no space. Oh, fuck. I accidentally closed out my tab. Okay, so that's at least like editing, right? Okay, I need to figure out why that's... I feel like I should be able to call... Well, I don't know if call is the right word. But do this class here. And it should still work, but it doesn't. So I guess that's what I'm having problems with. I can't figure out how to bring this class I have brought the link in, so maybe I shouldn't be trying to use CSS if I'm using HTML tables at all. Seems kind of counterintuitive, but also I don't understand why that matters at the same time. This feels like cheating. I don't want to go there. Maybe I need to put the whole thing in the row instead of the specific data cell. That feels wrong. Yeah, that is not correct. I believe we are Tuesday this week. But alright, see you, Nick. Have fun with the family. See if YouTube can help. Editing, HTML, tables. Says.
Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom, table content. So inside here, let's first add a class to the table itself.
Wait.
Let's add a class of content table. And the reason for this is because we're going to be adding all of the CSS to this class right here. That styles to be applied to those tables class. The first thing to do is to
Okay, so he just has a style tag because he doesn't have a separate CSS.
to add a border collapse of collapse. And this basically is one of the most popular CSS properties on tables, and basically it's going to be reducing the amount of space between your cells. So I'm going to save this and refresh the browser and pay attention to the spacing between the cells. If I was to refresh, we get this right here. It's a lot smaller, a lot tighter, and that is the reason for the border. Also, it makes tables a lot easier to read or
It feels morally wrong to put a class for a single row or a single cell for the whole table, but we'll try that, see if it works. But I guess as long as it works, doesn't matter. Does not work.
a lot easier to fit on mobile devices, no matter what the content inside of it is. So of course, since it is a min, let's target this in green, so 009879. You can of course T-head TR. So we can add a background color of a nice looking green, so 009879. You can of course change this to suit your own web page, and also a color of white and a text align of left. The reason for this is because most browsers, including Chrome, like to center the table head columns. I think generally it's a good idea to make sure that your columns and content are aligned in the same way. So of course, if I was to refresh this now, we can see we of course have that nice background color, but also the table head columns are of course aligned properly with the table content below. So that's that right there. We can now add some padding between the cells. So back inside the table header and also the table content or table.
Okay, so we're gonna try this. I mean, we can just make content for the table. And See, we're at 502.
I'm going to save this and refresh the browser and pay attention to, so I'm going to save this and refresh the browser and detail body.
And then he has his separate. That didn't do the thing.
Of 1px solid, let's say content table, t-body tr, target.
I'm missing something. I feel like I'm close. Let me put some content and the other ones. 4 table rows. 3. I feel like I don't need to have a TH because I don't want a TH. One thing we didn't do in this very basic example above is semantically indicate that the first row was the header of the table. The entire first row was our data. When you use head, there must be no tr. That is a direct child of a table. Right, so the tr can't be here. It has to be indented if you use a th head. But we're not doing foots, the cells td and th. The individual cells of the table are always one of 2 elements, td or th. You can put whatever you want inside a table, but these are the elements that make them a table. Tabular data. Using our existing simple demo, the top row is all headers, not data. Basic styling. Most tables you will ever see use colors and lines to distinguish different parts of the table. Borders are very common. By default, all table cells are spacing out from one another by 2 pixels. Notice this when we inspected the tab. Okay, how? I mean, by doing that, he just... I can't do that, right? I mean, it might work, but it'll also affect... Yeah, it doesn't do. I don't understand how he's editing the CSS. Right, editing this with CSS. This is caused by the default support basing applied between the th and t body, pushing them to... Is there a t body in here? There is. Table th. Well, he specifically has a t body because he doesn't... He has a th. Is it unnecessary for me? I feel like all this can be shift tabbed. Oh no. Okay. I think we're gonna have to stop with CSS or HTML tables. Because it's not working. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I could try to do everything other than the image, because really it's just editing the image that I'm stuck on. Except not really, because I don't understand why this isn't doing what their stuff does. We're both using Visual Studio Code.
Sometimes you have other tables on your web page which you don't want this CSS to be applied to. For example, you may be using a table in your navigation bar or your footer. In that case, you don't want all of these fancy CSS styles to be applied to those tables, only the tables which are readable content by your user. In this case, it's going to be this one right here. So I'm going to go back inside here. I go inside the CSS and target the content table class. The first thing to do is to add a border collapse of collapse, and this basically spacing between the of 25px and 0. This ensures your table has some nice space between a slight bit. I'm going to also add a minimum width of 400px. And the reason for this is to ensure the table always looks nice and big. These back inside here, 9. You can of course change this to suit your own web page, and I think that's that. Of course, the heading columns are bold. Okay, so back down here, let's now target the content table TH and also content table TD. So the cells inside the table header and also the table content or table body. Alright, so we're going to say padding 12px, 15px. Okay, so of course it makes
I feel bad. I mostly just feel bad because so far to every lesson I've been able to make the project and then we go over it. And then he critiques. But I feel like this is going to be the first project where I've genuinely tried working on it and I'm just missing stuff. And I don't know. I don't want that to happen yet. I feel this is only like week 3 or week 4. I don't want to do that yet. I feel like I should still be able to give him projects that are completed. Just maybe a little wonky. Maybe like one thing isn't right. Pretty bad or something. But I've been stuck on this for a long time. See, the problem is I can't even really work on the rest of this because, like, when I try to do what this guy is doing with editing headers and data cells and rows and all that stuff, my CSS isn't doing what he's doing. It's just giving me an error because it has space. It didn't matter if I press space. It didn't matter if I press tab. It just didn't want to work. So we're going to try Css Grid next. But we can save this, and then open up 2 new files. Forgot about these videos. Fuck.
All right, and welcome to this. So really there's only 2 main tags that you're going to be using. The table row. Okay, now the first thing to note is tables are tabular data. They're formed by rows and columns. So now a table, you in that first row cell, the T cell stack up, and the columns. And you can see over here in the left-hand sidebar, we are looking at the same thing. So you can see here in the real code, we start out with a tag called table. And then inside of the table tag, we have our first row, which is that row right there. So that belongs to this first row right here. And we have 1, 2, 3 data cells. That's that one, and that one. Then we come down here and we make up our second row. So there's our second row. And you kind of get the idea here. These just basically continue on. This one has 3 data cells as well. One important thing to note here is that when you start building tables, you can't have a row with 2 and the next row with 3 and the next row with 4. You have to have an equal amount of data cells within each row when you start. I'll show you how you can merge those in a minute. Now in this next slide here, I want to show you the spans. So whenever you have 2 cells and you want to merge those together, we call that a span. Now in HTML, there's only 2 types of span. The first is what we call a row span, and the second is called a call span. Now people are for call span, but if we look for call span, because it all right, the next thing I want to cover is the casted bottom, the things along in the up for the now, and this is very common in tables where you extra tag. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but there are a few extra tags associated with tables. And this is very common in tables where you might have a row, T head here up at the top stands for table header. So this entire row is the T head tag, and then these 3 rows constitute the table body, and then this entire row here constitutes the footer, or the T foot. Now these 3 tags are actually optional. You technically don't need them to create a table, but if you want to do advanced things where you have header and footer rows that are separate from the body, it's recommended that you add these rows for more semantic code. Next, we're going to cover cell padding.
Yeah, see, I don't need this. So I'm not having a header and I'm not having a footer.
Now, cell padding refers to the cushion around the cells. So between the border, this little white line designates the border. This little blue box right here is the content, and the padding is this area right here. It's basically like a cushion. You can see here that the letter T got forced down onto its own line because there wasn't enough room, because the padding here is preventing content from going all the way to the edge of the border. So it's like an invisible cushion, and it's called cell padding. Now, very similar to cell padding, in fact, they look the same when you're doing them in code, is cell spacing. However, they are different. Cell spacing doesn't refer to the cushion in the inside of the cell. It actually refers to the space between cells. So this is actually not the border, so the border doesn't get thicker. Rather, the actual space between cells increases. We can also change the width and height of cells. This is something that has traditionally been kind of a nightmare with tables, because tables tend to want to rearrange or size themselves according to the content inside the cell, and it's not consistent between all the different browsers. So we can override the default width and height of cells by just adding width and height properties. So you can see here in this little simple example, this row right here obviously has a much taller height and same width in a higher separate normal to do inside of this for creating table complex shape. I wanted to mention the deprecated table attributes. Now you'll notice in this exercise I've been talking about cell padding and spacing, and we use bold value. The table that we are going to replicate from scratch. You can see this could be used for like a receipt or an order form or an invoice or something, but really it's just a single table. So if we look at this, the basic method for creating tables is you need to first start with a grid. So when I look at a table like this, I need to say how many rows and how many columns are there. So if we kind of look at this thing and we break it down, we can ignore the header and the footer. There's obviously sort of a column right here. There's a column right here. There's our first row, kind of goes across like this. Then we have another row right here. And then we have another row right here. And then we have a last row right here. Right? Whoops, that one kind of got cut off. So that's the overall feel of the table. Now I know that this total is that these 2 cells are actually merged 3 columns by data cells. So let's do that next. All right, so the first thing we need to do is just add the table tag. So I'm going to turn on a property here called border equals 1. Now typically you would do borders with CSS, but there is this border property. And if you don't have it set to a 1 pixel border, you actually won't see the borders when you're doing your previewing. So I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm going to create my
Get this shit out of here. And we'll go ahead and do this, dude. Border equals 1.
my first row. So we create a table row tag, and then inside of that row, you remember we have 3 columns, so I need 3 TD tags. So I'll just create one and then copy and paste here. So I'll do TD1, and then I'm just going to copy this guy down twice. So 1, 2, and then go ahead and save. And you can see over here, there my table appears. And I'll just renumber these. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So there's my first row, and I have 3 cells. Now I just need, I think we had 5 total rows, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste this. So I'll copy this one and say paste, paste. Paste, paste, paste. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Let me save that. You can then see all those rows there. And then you renumber. Now this numbering is important because when you start doing your spans, your row spans and call spans, it's really important to have these numbers in place. They'll really help you. So I'm going to hurry and number this. 8, 9, 10, let's see, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so we save that and we update. And we can see over there, sure enough, there's our table. Now just so you can see a few of those extra properties here, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set the width of this table to be, I don't know, 500 pixels or something like that. Sorry, not px, 500. And you can see right away the table is stretching out there, so that looks like it's a little big. Maybe I'll set that down to 300 so we can see the full thing there in the preview. That's better. Let's go all the way down to 200. And then I can also mess around with the height. So I'm going to come in here and set the height to 200 as well. Now again, typically we mess around with widths and heights in CSS, but I just want to demonstrate this. Right, now I'm going to add that cell spacing property because it's really easy to see once you have your table. So I'm going to say cell spacing equals 20, something really large, and you can really see what happens, right? That space in between the cells got all that big, giant, extra bit of space. So I'm going to delete that. We'll leave the width and height in there. And now let's go ahead and do our merging. So we know that the first 3 rows were normal, but this last row right here only had 2 cells, the total and then the total sale price. So 13 and 14 need to be merged together. So the way I recommend you do this is you come down to the cell that starts the merging. So in other words, 13 is going to merge into 14. I like to think left to right and top to bottom. So if 5 and 8 were merged together, 8 doesn't merge into 5, rather 5 merges into 8, top down and then left to right. So in this case right here, I'm going to come to cell 13. So let's go find cell 13. That's right down here. And this is why I recommend you number them because then you can easily find them in your code. And I'm going to add in, let me have you guess which type of span is this. This is a call span because I'm spanning these 2 columns.
Call span.
Now the number inside the call span property is how many literal columns it's going to be spanning. So in my case, 1 and 2. So 2 columns are going to span together. So the number here I would put would be 2. Okay. And here's the important part. Before you save and refresh, you need to go find the cell that it's merging into, in this case 14, and just delete the entire cell. Then you save and then refresh, and you can see, sure enough, those are 2 now merged together. And that's the important thing. I want to show you what happens if I do that in the opposite way. So I'm going to undo. Now, if I save before I delete cell 14, watch what happens. See, I just hit save. See how my entire table breaks? And then it gets really difficult to figure out which cells are merging into which cells because everything is broken in here. So you always have to remember to, when you add a call span in, or a row span, you have to delete the cell that it merges into first, then save and refresh and make sure it looks correct. Now, just for simplicity's sake, or for to show you a row span, I'm going to merge cells 6 through 12 together. So again, if those were merged together, I start on 612 because I start on cell 6 because I'm merging down. So let's find cell 6. We come in here and this is going to be a row span. So we say row span equals, and then you can see it's going to be 3. 1, 2, 3 because I'm merging down 3 rows. So I put the number 3 in there, and then I need to delete the other 2 cells. So cell 9 I need to delete and cell 12. So I come find cell 9, I delete it. I find say cell 12, I delete it. Then go ahead and save, and whoops, I spelled that wrong. Row span, there we go. And sure enough, those are then all merged together. And if you just do that simple step, you'll be able to build any sort of complex table that comes your way. So those are my easy steps for labeling tables and then doing your spans. After you have everything sort of spanned the correct way, so you build your grid, you do your spans, and then the third step is you can then further align and adjust things accordingly. So just to demonstrate this, maybe I want the contents of this to be at the bottom right. So I'm going to come into cell 6, and I'm going to use the align property, and I'll set that to right. Remember, that's for the horizontal alignment, so I'll save, and you can see sure enough it jumps over. And then I'll also add in the V align, that's the vertical align property, and I'll set that to bottom, and save, and it jumps down to the bottom. So now my content is aligned down there. Now, the last thing I'll do here is show you how we can mess around with the height, and then how we can do a table inside of a table. So let's say I wanted for some reason, and I hit return to give myself some room. And then inside of the actual table data cell, you just paste the entire table code. So to keep things simple, I'm actually just going to copy this entire table code all the way from start to finish. And I'll come inside of cell number 6, and this is going to be a bit messy, but I'm just going to paste. So that entire table code is pasted in there, and I'm going to save. And you can now see I've got that entire table is built inside of that cell 6. And again, that's very messy, but that's how you can make a table. I'm going to undo that. Back up and undo. A table inside of a table. Okay, so that's the basics for creating your tables and building your tables. Now, the last thing we're going to cover in this tutorial is how we can then style the tables and have some fancy headers, some footers, some CSS styling to make them look much better than the default. Okay, so in this part, we're going to be styling the table. Now, I've already got all the HTML in place. This is basically the exact same as our previous code. The only difference is that I've added in the T head tag. So I have a T head, then I have my row. So this is the header. I've added in the T body tag, which has the 3 rows, which constitute the body. And I've added in the T foot tag, which has the single row of the footer. So there's my head, there's the body, and there's the foot. And that's how you can add those in HTML as well. Now, I've just put in some little dummy content here to simulate this. Let's go ahead and start the CSS. Now, I have right now border equals 1, and that's strictly so you can see the border here over in the preview. But what I want to do is first show you a single property, then I'm going to remove this border equals 1 because we're going to be doing that with CSS. So you can...
Dude, let's go. This is what I was looking for the whole time.
See here, I'm going to open up my...
Look at my teacher giving me the video that I needed to see.
table code. I just have some basic code in here for background color and a font and whatnot like that.
And then look at me, trying to find it on my own, being stubborn as hell.
So really, the important code here is going to start out in our table as I do my styling on the table, just in case you have other tables you're working with on a single page. So let's go ahead and come back here to CSS, and I'll go ahead and create my first table. So it's dash dot invoice table, and then we're going to add our first bit of properties here. Now, the first one I want to show you is a property called border dash collapse, and we're going to set this property to collapse. And watch what happens as soon as I save to the borders over here. So I'm going to save that. Notice how they all collapsed down to a single pixel.
How? When did you fucking add it to your HTML?
Now, notice that in the
Oh, up there. Okay, it worked. It did something.
table itself, I have a class of invoice table. So I'm going to be using this class as I do my styling on the table, just in case you have other tables you're working with on a single page. So let's go ahead and come back here to CSS, and I'll go ahead and create my first table. So it's dash dot invoice table, and then we're going to add our first bit of properties here. Now, the first one I want to show you is a property called border dash collapse, and we're going to set this property to with HTML table unit of border, because they have like a bit of a bevel embedded. So this border collapse property actually collapses all those inner bevels and actually does sort of make them one pixel, if you will. So that's the first property we're going to add. Now that I've added that property and demonstrated what happens there, I'm actually going to go into the HTML and delete the border equals 1, because we don't need it here. So I'll go ahead and save that. There's not going to be any borders, and we'll continue working here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just give this table some width. So maybe I'm going to say width equals 25 ems or something like that. So it's going to space itself out a little bit, which is fine. I'm actually going to make this preview fairly small as we're working.
What is an M?
Here, you can watch it update in real time. The next thing I'm going to do is add in a background color, so we'll be able to see the bounds here. And the background color is just going to be white, so I'll just say FFF. That looks fine. Let's go ahead and add a border dash radius. This is just going to round off the corners, and we'll just say 5 pixels here and save. You can see that's a little bit subtle, but it added that little teeny round right there on that. The next thing we're going to do is add some shadow. So this is going to be a box shadow, and we're going to say 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 30 pixels. I'm just looking off my note here. I'm not making up these numbers off the top of my head. And then the color is going to be RGBA, and we're going to say 000 for black, and then the alpha value is going to be 0.15 for 15%. So let's go ahead and save. Now you can see that just adds a subtle shadow underneath here that's pushed away 10 pixels and 30 pixels, so 10 down, 30 down, 10 across, as a 5 pixel blur. Anyway, and we have a little bit of a box shadow. All right, next thing we're going to do is add in some margin. So let's say margin, I don't know, maybe 25 pixels and auto. This is just going to center up our little receipt, I guess I'll call it. Invoice inside the browser preview window there. And that should pretty much do it for the main tag. Okay, so let's move down. And our next one, we're going to be working on the table header. So we'll use this same invoice table, and we're going to saythead, tr. So this will only affect the row that's inside of the table head, and we know there's only one. So let's go ahead and give this guy a border dash bottom, and we're going to say 1 pixel dashed, and then a color. And I'm just going to say gray, and save. And you can see that adds a 1 pixel dashed border.
Why does it work for him? Okay. That's probably going to work for me too.
right
I was just
inside
doing
there.
something
So that looks
slightly
fine.
wrong.
Now I'm basically going to copy this
Not my
and
fault.
paste it because I want to do the same thing except for the footer. So T foot, except instead of border bottom, this one's going to be border dash top, and save. And now I've got another little border above the last footer. So that's fine there. Next thing we're going to do is mess around with the table data cells inside of the header.
Yes.
So we can create a rule in here called
Yes.
invoice table, and then T head, and then TR.
Okay. Content table. TR. TD.
TD. Now I'm writing these really long selectors because it's easier for you, I think, in CSS to kind of see the nesting order. So this is the table data cell, inside of a table row, inside of the table head, inside of that invoice table. So if we hover over this, you can kind of see the structure there of exactly what elements I'm affecting. Now in this specific property, we're going to add some font size. So let's change the font size. We'll just make this 16 pixels and save. So you can see that changes that a little bit. Then we're going to change the letter spacing to just 1 pixel. That's going to space out.
Width. Can we do 50% right here? Oh. Can we do 50 pixels right here? No. Bitch. Dude, fuck images.
The letter spacing a little bit in that header row. And let's go ahead and make a color. We'll make this gray as well. So you can see the color just shifted there. And then let's give this some padding. So I'm going to give this padding of 8 pixels to kind of push everything away from the edges. So again, this is affecting each individual data cell. So that data cell, and that data cell that's inside of our T head. Okay, that looks fine. Now we're going to do basically a similar thing for our footer. So I'm going to copy this entire thing and paste it down below. But instead of T head, this is going to be T foot. So this is going to be affecting the bottom row here. And the color, let's make green. And then we'll change the, I don't know, maybe we'll make it slightly larger. So we'll make it 18 pixels or something like that. Footer row. So that looks fine there. And let's go ahead and mess around with the body as well. So I'm going to copy this one more time, paste it, and instead of T foot, it's going to be T body. So this is going to affect each individual cell inside of the body. Now, I don't want font size to be any different, so I'll delete that. I'll delete letter spacing, I'll delete color. Really, all I want to mess around with is the padding. So we'll delete color, and let's go ahead and save, and we'll consider that good enough. So that's what our body area is going to be looking like. And the last few things from this point are just a little bit of tweaks. So one thing we can do is we can write a selector. So invoice table.
I want to hang myself. Not really. I shouldn't joke about that.
Hey there, we are on the home stretch. An A tag because I want when you text indent to be a logo, and I intentionally added this text here, a lot of op. And then if I also were to bump this height up to 90, you'd see IMG tag is used when you want to add an image that's actually considered a part of content. So instead of inserting text, I would insert an image that is considered a piece of the article, so to speak. The other main way that so in this case, for this header, which is this black box here, I'd use CSS to make a background image on that whole header. It's not considered a part of the content in terms of image, a little bit longer because there's a lot of dialogue appropriately images. To snatch some images for this to you, great idea. Right click. And free promo for you, Artisan Bakery. And so I've got an images folder now. That's important to know where you go images. So they can be transparent. As you can see, the background is showing through. And then I've got a hero. I'm going to use this for the banner here. So there we get started. Let's start up here with the header. I'm going to make a menu, add a logo here in the middle. S for the logo. I'm going to add an LI with an A tag. And I'm also going to make this an A tag because I want when you click on the logo for it to go to the home page. That's kind of a normal thing to do. You want that logo to always take you home. And I'm going to add a title here. I'm going to say Artisan Bakery logo. So there we go. That is now going to add a link up there. which needs to be a logo. And I intentionally added this text here because it's a good idea, again, to always make it semantic. It should read that are visually impaired, visually disabled, and they're going to use screen readers to visit your website semantically. It doesn't have a reader when they're little text when it's going to take logo. First of all, I'm going to add a class logo. So header class logo can now be targeted. There's the logo, and there's the A tag inside of the logo LI. And let me give this thing a background color of red. I always like to give it a background color when I'm working with something just so I can see what that box is doing. I'm going to give it a width of 300. And this will do nothing because it's display inline by default. I need to change this to display inline block. And now, boom, 300 wide. And then I can also give it a height here. Let's go like 80 pixels. And now that that's going, I can get rid of this text. A little trick that you can use to get rid of text is called text indent. And then since it's display block, I can tell the text to just kind of go way far left. So I'm going to go negative 9999 pixels. And that's going, boom, way off the screen to where no one will ever see it. What's great about this is, again, it's semantically correct. You can read that it's a link, and there I can add a background image. Now, before I add a background image, let me describe a little bit more of what this background property does. This is actually shorthand. If you'll remember, margin is shorthand for margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left. You can actually add a bunch of things in there. Background is the same way. It's background color, background image, repeat. It just keeps going. So if you're going to do anything more than color or image, then I like to use the actual broken out ones, background color red. And that's going to do the exact same thing. Just like you can break out margin right, margin top, you can break out background. And there are a lot of options. You can see if I just do that, there's a lot of options here that I can use for background. So let's go background image, and let's go URL, which means we're going to pull in an image. And then I open and close the parentheses. Now in quotes in here, I just go pick my image. Images, logo.png. And boom, I got my logo in there. Awesome. And I also got rid of the background color.
There's a way to apply it to one but not the others.
As you scroll, that header stays there, or even just like buttons that kind of stay persistently in the bottom right hand corner of your screen or something. You know, tracker, how
Oh yeah, I accidentally wait, we recorded so much.
to stretch in height. So is the image wanting to stretch. We're gonna have two rows, right?
Okay,
Because,
bitch.
you know, that's what the picture
I get to copy his code. Let's go. Let's go.
looks like. So this whole top section is our first row. Rows.
Okay. Table.
We're going to have a table element here, right? And then we're going to have two rows, right?
Yeah.
Because you know, that's what the picture looks like. So this whole top section is our first row, and then this whole bottom section is our second row. And one thing, another very important thing to know about tables is that obviously the width of, if you define the width of one particular cell, it will affect that entire column. So in this case, we have a TD and a TD. That I have two of them in each of our rows. And in this one, I'm going to say width equals, we're going to go like, I don't know, 40%. And in this one, we're going to go width equals 60%. And just to give it some, just so we can see it for now, I'm going to go ahead and say class equals red, class equals blue.
Wait, what did you do? TD width. Just get the fuck out of here, image. Tired of you.
Class equals green, class equals yellow. It's going to be real ugly, but we'll be able to see it. And then if I go here, red, background color is red. Same thing for blue, green, and yellow. Refresh our page here. 100%. See where that gets us. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, yeah, margin 0, padding 0. Okay, yeah, now we're getting there. So I mean, you can't, it's hard to see because there's no height to it. And in fact, I'll just go ahead and come in here and I'll say that for all of my TDs, let's give it a height of, I don't know, 40 pixels just temporarily so we can see it. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Promise, I know what I'm doing. Transplant all of your elements into each of those cells. So in this case, instead of being wrapped in a div, your image just goes inside of that first TD. And then is centered vertically inside the cell, right?
Where did that come from? 40%. Forgot I can have my stuff going. Time is up. Kind of hurts the eyes, but I like it. I don't think that part's necessary. Okay, we need to have this work better.
And that's not what we want. We want it to be basically top of line.
I guess I don't understand why his is fitting. mine is not.
Your edge, and then our layout is perfect. So now all we have to do is transplant all of your elements in.
Oh, it's just Chaco. What? Oh, that's the 1 pixel border.
Into
I just wish it would fucking work inside the goddamn CSS, dude. Yeah.
each of those cells. So in this case, instead of being wrapped in a div, your image just goes inside of that first TV. And then...
God. See, I'm gonna do this messy again. I know there's a better way to do it. I'm gonna be like, well, these are the grabs I got. You could have done it this way. It would have... Like, I'm probably just gonna go into each of these classes and change shit because I know it'll work. But really, you're supposed to just do it something like this and change all of these together so that it all fits. Like, I don't understand why this isn't moving over. Like, everyone has said that with tables, it automatically, like, fills. HTML table.
Table space.
What did he do?
Table tag. So I'm going to turn on a property here called border. So the number here I would put would cell set individual piece. Now undo a table inside of a table. Constitute the body, and I've added in the t foot tag, which has the single row of the foot.
Like, all of his just... Okay, I know there is a different way. Remember he said he didn't want me to use paragraphs there?
Our header is just gonna, or actually it's this whole thing here. So take that out, put that inside of this. Let's see, what else can we get rid of? Okay, we can get rid of. Now it's basically perfectly laid out. Let me just take off those ugly colors. Table. Now, the only thing that's weird about this is the fact that if you noticed before when I did have the colors, so that you can, more clearly see exactly where the bound. Are, and we're going to you need to just add
The more I change, the worse it looks. All right, that's roughly something for tables. This wasn't as helpful to me as I wanted it to be, probably because I'm just missing stuff. No, I want to add spacing between the cells.
Side of the header. Default. Okay, so in this part, we're going to be styling the table. Now, I've already got all the HTML in place. This is to do is first show you a single property, then I'm going to remove property to collapse. And watch what happens as soon as I save to the borders over here. So I'm going to save that. Okay, it's a little bit strange. For collapse property is that I'm actually going to go into the HTML and delete the border equals 1. Just give this table some width. So maybe we're going to say width equals 25 ems or something like that. So it's going to space itself out a little bit with ground color. So we'll be able to see the bounds here. And the background color is just going to be white. So I'll just say FFF and save. You can see that's a little bit subtle. We're going to say 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 30 pixels. I'm just looking off my note here. I'm not making up these numbers off the top of my head. And then the color is going to be RGBA. So let's go ahead and has a 5 pixel same margin out of invoice inside the browser preview window there. And that should pretty much be an invoice table. Let's go ahead and give this guy a border dash bottom. And we're going to say 1 pixel dashed. And it looks fine. This one's going to be called invoice table, I think, in CSS to kind of see the nesting order. So this is the table data cell, inside of a table row, inside of the table head, inside of that invoice table. So if we hover over this, you can kind of see the structure there of exactly what element. Pixels and save. So you can see that changes that a little bit. Then we're going to change the letter spacing to just 1 pixel. That's going to space out the letter spacing a little bit in that header row. And let's go ahead and make this padding of 8 cell and that data cell that's inside of our T head. Okay, that looks fine. Now we're going to do basically a similar thing for our footer. So I'm going to copy this. This entire thing and paste it down below. But instead of T head, this is going to be T foot. So this is going to be affecting the or something like that footer row. So I'll paste it, and instead of being any different, so I'll delete that. I'll delete letter spacing. I'll delete color. Really, all I want to mess around with is the padding. So we'll delete color, and let's go ahead and save, and we'll consider that good enough. So that's what our
I don't understand why this is formatting the way it is.
Now, this next slide here, I want to show you these spans.
I think I can fix my issue here with doing a row span. So how does this actually work? So I have a row with 2 data cells. I would need a third row. With 2 TDs. Put it in the wrong spot. I could put so in the second TD, I do a call span.
So whenever you have two, so a lot of people will think this is spanning slide, and this one you can see we have spanning. That's completely fine. All right, and there's TD recommended that was we on that being open to the cookie chapter as replicate pound collar, copy and paste here. So I'll do TD 1 rows. All right, did this table out there, so that looks like a little big, giant extra bit of space. Last, I recommend you do and type them in your these 2 columns. Now,
Okay. He's merging 13 and 14. So we're gonna do CD row span 2. And here as well. Right? What does that do? Does it do what I just had but with extra steps? No, it add them to the right. Well, maybe it did that because I didn't.
Now the number inside the call span property is how many literal calls. It gets really difficult for 3 in there, and then I need to delete the other 2 cells. So cell 9 I need to delete, and cell 12. So I come find cell 9, I delete it.
We delete the cell still.
I find say.
Okay. We put the row span in his column. So honestly, we're really just row spanning this one. We're going 2, and we need to delete this one. Can I put...
Cell 12, I delete it. Just to demonstrate this, maybe I want the contents of this to be at the bottom right. So I'm going to come into cell 6, and I'm going to use the align property. And I'll set that to right. Remember, that's for the horizontal alignment. So I'll save, and you can see, sure enough, it jumps over. And then I'll also add in the V align. That's the vertical align property, and I'll set that. That to bottom and save, and it jumps down to the bottom. So now my content is aligned down there. Now, the last thing I'll do here is show you how we can mess around with the height, and then how we can do a table inside of a table. So let's say I want horizontal alignment. So let's find cell 6. We come in here, and this is going to be our entire table breaks, and then it gets really difficult to figure out which cells are merging into which cells because everything is broken in here. So you always have to remember to, when you add a call span in, or a row span, you have to delete the cell that it merges into first, then save and refresh and make sure it looks correct. Now just for
All right. I didn't make what I was trying to do there, didn't change anything, and probably added extra steps. So we're gonna call it there for today's Sunday. Don't really want to keep working on it some more, but kind of need to, because I haven't done the CSS grid at all.
Add a little bit of padding. There's a lot of ways you could do it. We could say a dot, in this case, because we know it's literally just 4 quadrants, we could do a dot left and a dot right, and then a dot. Is that the right way to do it? Display grid. Row. 1 second, sorry. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for because it's generally, like, it's only useful in certain types of web pages, which I think it should be smart enough to I tell it how those apart.
If I really need the pep up, then I can grab a monster right next to it.
Actually kind of convenient. It makes it easy to read. So I am actually just going to come in here and say is header image. It's literally just defining an identifier used for layout. So it's the grid template. Still didn't work. Just not working. Stupid. It's
like
it just overflows and it shows up anyway. So all I it's because I gave it conflicting doing. Yeah, it should still lay out properly. So I've told it to only apply to me. But anyways, that's why CSS selectors are really important to get right, because if you're not careful, you can over-select.
Let's see. We can keep working on this, or we can take a break and then work on it later, which kind of sounds like the play. And by break, I mean playing The Witcher, and we're gonna need to restart the stream so I could do the thumbnail correctly. But also might take like 10-20 minutes of a break, because it's been a little while since I've seen my my family. I want to say hi to them, make sure they're doing okay. Depending on how long that takes will determine how long it is before I start on this again. Let's make sure all this is saved. Exit out of it right for now. We did learn, which is good. We've made progress. I feel like my progress
too many things
doesn't really mean anything, but you know, it's probably just my own expectations holding me back. But we're gonna hop off the stream, start it up again very soon, and kind of just go from there. All right.